Hi, thanks for joining us. My name is Trish Tierney, and I'm co-founder of Wake.
I'm Heather Ramsey. Hi, everyone.
Hey, it's great to have you here, and thanks so much for your interest in Tech2Empower Rwanda. So we're going to share some more details about who we are and what our program is all about and how you can get involved. So these are the things that we're going to cover during this session. We'll talk about what is Tech2Empower Rwanda, the purpose of the trip, what you would do as an advisor, and then some more details about the program, how we work with social entrepreneurs and girls education, and then also a bit more about the application costs and process. And then we'll take your questions and answers at the end.
Great, Trish. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off our videos just so you have a better full screen view of what we're covering. If you have any questions, you're welcome to type your question into the chat. And we'll also open it up at the end if you want to verbally ask your questions.
So, what is Tech2Empower? Tech2Empower is our main initiative here at Wake, and what we do is we work with partners in other countries as well as in communities across the United States, and we connect volunteer advisors from the tech industry, such as yourselves, with women's rights organizations, girls' schools, and social entrepreneurs. And we connect these two powerful groups to create greater impact and social change. Our upcoming trip, which is why all of you are here, is to Rwanda. So Tech2Empower Rwanda runs from May 25th to June 1st. The application is open right now and it closes next week on the 27th. And then also, just in case you're interested and thinking further out, we are having another international trip to Guatemala, and that's next fall, November 2nd through the 9th. And that application will be opening up next month in April. So as I mentioned, Tech2Empower is our flagship initiative. Our mission here at Wake is to amplify the work of women's rights and social justice leaders and their organizations. So we believe that there are incredible leaders in their communities who know exactly what's needed for the communities they serve, and that they sometimes just need a bit of support to really deepen their impact and broaden their reach. And so we bring to them resources and skills and support, especially through volunteer advisors. We have been working on these issues for quite some time, and to date, Wake has supported 146 different nonprofit organizations and trained over 800 women and girls, and we've worked in 10 countries and 15 states in the US. And our advisor community is just growing, and it's just a really wonderfully diverse and committed group of advisors. We have 129 advisors to date, representing 38 different companies. A lot of the companies are in the Bay Area, but we also love having advisors from all around the world. We've had advisors from Poland, from New York, from Chicago, Florida. So we're not a Bay Area exclusive at all. We love to have advisors from all over the world. And this is just a few images to show you some of the shining faces of the advisors that are out there who have been working with us to support these initiatives. Each one brings so much talent and passion. And also here's just a small sampling of some of the companies that we've been working with over the years.
Yeah, and if you want to check out the current advisor community, you can go on our website, and there's a tab for advisors, and all 129 of them are listed there, and you can check out their LinkedIn profiles and see who we're working with. Okay, so Tech2Empower Rwanda, that's what you're all here for. Again, it's May 25th through June 1st. This is going to be an incredible trip. You know, Rwanda is a very unique place that is at the forefront of women's leadership, especially in government and entrepreneurship. So we'll have the opportunity to learn more about how the country is fostering women's leadership. It's also the tech hub, considered the tech hub of Africa. And so you'll get to learn more about the initiatives on the ground that are working to support tech, but also entrepreneurship in general. In addition to learning, the trip is all about contributing your skills as a volunteer advisor. And there are a few ways we do that, and we'll talk more in depth, but it involves supporting women social entrepreneurs, and that's working on hands-on projects with them to help them advance their businesses and their work, their social justice and social impact work in their communities. And then we also focus on young women and girls through working with local girls' schools, and we'll share a little more about that. Okay, so the purpose of our trip is learning, but also coaching, mentoring, and training, all with the goal of advancing the impact of women leading change in their communities. And we do this by working with social entrepreneurs, as well as working with women in tech, women leaders, and others in the community making an impact. We also, as I mentioned, focus on girls' education, which involves working hands-on with girls in their schools. And also we will be hosting an event, a career fair for girls in the local community. And please don't hesitate if any questions come up along the way. We're monitoring the chat, so feel free to pop in there anytime. Okay, so what do advisors do? There are many things, but just to start, one of the main core components of what advisors do is working with local women social entrepreneurs. So these are women who have started their own organizations or initiatives or businesses with the goal of having a positive impact on their communities. And so we spend 2 days with them learning about their work, learning about their mission and goals, and then helping them advance a project and working hands-on on our computers, like literally doing work on projects with them. Another focus is mentoring the women and girls. And you see in this photo here, this is Sandra, who is one of our advisors in Guatemala. And you see the Girl Power shirt. This is one of the young women from the school in Guatemala we are working with. And she just completed an exercise related to interviewing skills. So a lot of the girls at the schools are looking towards university or career opportunities and want to practice interviewing skills. So she did that with this young woman. And then next, we also really like to focus on introducing our advisors and promoting exchange with women who are locally working in tech, and also as entrepreneurs and at community organizations. And so this is the office. This photo at the bottom there is the office in Rwanda, which is a co-working space that we'll be visiting during our time. Some additional components are we get to do fun things, but in a responsible way. And we do cultural activities and excursions, all with the goal of having a better understanding of the local community and the context in which we're operating. So we do this part of it at the beginning of the trip, and then part towards the middle. And the top photo there is our Tech2Empower Cambodia group when we visited Angkor Wat. Another thing advisors can expect is to develop new skills themselves, whether it be cross-cultural or, leadership skills from, working on the social entrepreneurship projects, to learning new professional skills from local Rwandans with whom you'll be in touch, but also from the other advisors that are traveling with you. And you're also, by joining this, you're joining a global network working together to advance equality for women and girls. And just to clarify here, we accept and work with people of all gender identities. And so it's a global network working together to advance equality. Lastly, make new friends and make meaningful connections and have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun on this trip. And I think that one of the things that's really amazing about it is, people are coming from all different backgrounds, all different age groups. We are very careful to choose a very diverse and mixed group in terms of professional background, geographic, age, ethnicity, experience in life, level at their companies. So a wide range so that everyone, has a place, and also you get to learn so much from each other, and everyone is there for the same reason, to learn and also to contribute. And that makes for a really incredible group. And what we found is people stay in touch for years, and they become, many people become lifelong friends from participating in these really intense experiences together. Okay, so girls' education. This is Miriam, who came with us to Cambodia with some girls from Harpswell School in Phnom Penh. And so you can see here how much fun that she was having with the girls. And, we got to spend a whole day with them. We'll be doing this in Rwanda. So you get to really make meaningful connections with the girls we're working with, because you do get to work with them in small groups and get to know them.
And I think working with the girls is a really great insight into the future of the country that you visit. And so in Cambodia, they have a lot of tragedy in their past history with Pol Pot, and working with young people. And we also met a lot of young social entrepreneurs and these young women who are all at universities. And they really gave us like an insight into how positive the next generation is, and that there's a lot of hope and positivity in what they are doing and how they see the future. And in Rwanda, I think it's very similar in that Rwanda, of course, has a very tragic history with the genocide, but has also moved on and is creating, as Heather said, a tech hub in East Africa. And the young women, especially that you're going to meet, will just really show you how much hope there is for the future. So one of our main partners in Rwanda is the Aquila Institute. Aquila is a post-secondary school in Kigali. You can see the white woman in the photo on the left. Her name's Elizabeth. She started Aquila, well over a decade ago, maybe longer. And now she's still on the board, but it's completely run by Rwandans. And they take students who have completed secondary school but may not be going on to a university, and give them really great leadership training, but also skills training. And they started out focused on graduating young women into hospitality, so hotel and restaurant type jobs. And then in recent years, they also launched a tech component to their program. And so they're really excited about working with and meeting our group and doing a lot of activities around how to inspire those young students that they already have enrolled, but also bringing more awareness to the community about tech careers for young women in Rwanda. And so we'll be doing several activities with them and their students and their teachers. And Heather and I visited them about 5 years ago in Rwanda. And then I visited them just a year ago, and they had just opened, they already had a beautiful campus, but they did a big campaign and just opened a new school, and they're continuing to grow and expand, and they have a ton of really inspiring success stories. And so we'll have some great experiences contributing to their programs and learning alongside them and helping them with some of the projects they're working on.
Yeah, and to the right here, you see some photos from Tech2Empower Peru, which was just this past October. These are photos when we went to the Global Active Learning School in Cusco, and we did a tech and career fair, similar to what we'll be doing in Rwanda. We covered a range of topics from Google's I Am Remarkable, which was very powerful with the students. It's a exercise where each individual gets to talk about what makes them remarkable specifically, and it's incredible. It's very simple but very powerful. Some other things we did are the motherboard workshop, which that's an advisor who likes to share the physical motherboards and work with students to take them apart and understand how they work. Interviewing skills, career mentoring. So these are all things we covered in Peru, but we do customize each activity for the country and the school we're visiting. So, and also, of course, the skill sets and interests of the advisors. And so it could be a bit different in Rwanda, but these are just some examples.
And the tech and career fair that we'll do in Kigali will be open to Aquila students, but we'll also be inviting many other secondary schools and getting a diversity of students to come and join. So it'll be a pretty large group. I think in Peru we had about 70 secondary school girls, and we'll at least have that many in Kigali. And we'll get to meet students and teachers from a wide range of school communities.
Okay, we already talked about this a bit, but this is an advisor of ours from Peru on the right, Elise, working with her team and this is her social entrepreneur team in Cusco, and they're working on their project during our social entrepreneurship day. And here's an example of a project. And so in Peru, there was an organization called Art Trail Community, and they create experiences for tourists that focus on learning about local art and culture, and also give the tourists a chance to actually do some of the art while learning about the traditions. So they had a lot of demand for their product, a lot of tourists interested, but we're struggling with their business model, their pricing, and even their marketing. And so a team of our advisors worked with them to come up with their pricing model and just like work through all of the ins and outs of how they were running their business. And these are some photos here of the team working together. And then you'll see the whiteboard there. So this is really practical hands-on work. And then to the right there, they visited, they did one of the Art Trail community experiences. The advisors got a chance to experience what it would be like to be a tourist on their program. And that's a great opportunity to understand how the business is really operating and what it's really like. And so we are hoping to have that same option available for most of the social entrepreneurship teams in Rwanda. So if you come with us to Rwanda as an advisor, you will be matched with a social entrepreneurship project and other teammates from the advisor group. And then you'll spend 2 days working with that team. Okay, in addition to what we've already talked about, we'll have some community events. So we'll definitely be connecting with women in tech in Rwanda and entrepreneurs and others in the community. And so we host a type of happy hour and with some structured networking opportunities. We also do visits to local community organizations, working in Kigali, and we visit women's cooperatives. And oftentimes the visits to women's cooperatives, not only do we get a chance to learn about their work and their stories, but we also get a chance to spend responsibly, because everyone seems to like shopping and taking back gifts for loved ones, and going to the women's cooperatives offers an opportunity to do that, but in a way that we know the support is going directly to the women running the business and working on the products. Lastly, we have cultural site visits during the trip. We want to share. So the visits in Rwanda and Kigali are varied, and we're still hammering it out. One of the things that we'll be doing now is visiting the Genocide Memorial Museum, which is in Kigali, and it's a really important part of the experience because it's important to understand the history and what has brought the country to where it is. So it's extraordinary and an excellent experience. It's not as happy as the one you see here in this photo, but there are also some incredible opportunities to see dance and music and art in Kigali, which we'll get a chance to do. That brings us to the present day, Rwanda.
Yeah, and all these activities are really designed to make sure that on the trip, you're obviously giving a lot of your time and skills and talent to volunteer, but we also want to make sure that you're learning and getting a really broad view of the context of the country. And so even the fun parts are very carefully planned so that you're getting to know lots of different types of people in Rwanda and having lots of different experiences that layer onto each other and provide you with a great understanding of the country in the time that you have there.
I'm glad you said that, Trish, because I think one of the things that we hear after the trips and we feel ourselves is that even though some of the things we do on the trips might be things you would do if you were a tourist, like the sites you might see, some of them might be the same as what you'd see as a tourist. It's a completely different experience on a Tech2Empower trip because you are working directly with people in the local community. You're hosted by local people that are, new friends or longtime friends of our organization. And so it's an insider's view of the country and on issues that other people just don't get to learn about as tourists. Okay, Hotel de Mille Collines. So this is where we're going to be staying in Kigali. It's a beautiful hotel. It's a great location. They've recently done some renovations. It's if some of you may have heard or seen the movie Hotel Rwanda, and the story Hotel Rwanda, which is a true story about how Tutsis who were being targeted during the genocide took refuge in Hotel Mille Collines, Hotel Rwanda, and were protected and hidden there by the staff of this hotel during the genocide. And so while the movie itself, if you have seen it or plan to see it, isn't filmed in the actual Mille Collines, it is the actual hotel where the true story took place. So that's where we'll be staying. Just a few other things I wanted to mention about the local stay is that often a question that comes up when I talk about Rwanda is it safe? And, it's a funny question in a way because, and we know where it comes from. It comes from the fact that most people, the only thing that they've ever heard about Rwanda is about the genocide. It's a small country and, hasn't gotten a lot of other international attention over the last 30 years. But that was 1994 and they have come a long way. And now Rwanda is known as the safest or one of the safest countries in Africa with almost no crime, especially violent crime. It's incredibly clean. The roads are, especially in the urban areas, are very well maintained. And
yeah, we stayed at this hotel last time we were there a few years ago, and we walked to, there's a really wonderful restaurant called Heaven, which is just a few blocks from there. And we walked there with our group multiple times and walked home at night. And so, obviously closer to the trip, we'll be providing lots more detail and recommendations. And when we're going, to group events, we'll provide transportation. But yeah, we just wanted to, if any of you have concerns about safety or sometimes partners who are concerned about your interest in going on the trip, we only plan these trips in places where we ourselves feel like super comfortable and confident taking groups. And Rwanda is really safe and beautiful.
Yeah. And the State Department website, the State Department has like a safety ratings, like travel advisory section of their website. If you look up Rwanda, which I did just the other night, it's like, a completely, like everything they say, it's as if you're, visiting, a country with, and just about anywhere that has no specific safety issues. So I looked up France also because I'm going there myself this year, and France had a bunch of warnings on it, just to give you some perspective. So, I mean, it's, look for yourself, but if anyone has any questions about that, there's lots of information about Rwanda current day safety. All right, and we wanted to mention, this is a picture of me and Trish in the middle and to the right there, and our friend Sheila on the left. And this is when we were in Rwanda in 2014. And then to the left of us, our two gorilla friends we met on our gorilla trek. And to the right are some zebras from a safari you can do there, which we did not do. So the safaris and the gorilla treks are not a part of the Tech2Empower program. However, we will be providing ideas and recommendations for booking these opportunities after the trip or potentially before. We recommend after. It's easier after you've been acclimated and you've had the whole experience with us to then go off on your own and do this. And what we've found on past trips is a lot of times multiple advisors will do something. Like when we went to Peru, a group went to Machu Picchu and planned excursions together and hung out together. By then they were great friends. And so there's some great opportunities to explore Rwanda after your trip.
And if you do have the time and the resources to see the gorillas, it's really one of the most amazing things in the world. And there are only about 700 of the mountain gorillas left in the world, and you can only see them in Rwanda, the DRC, and Uganda. And so, it is, if you're able to, it's really an incredible experience.
Yeah, it's kind of life-changing. And the photo here is taken from my iPhone. And I was right, 3 feet from them. So just to get a sense, you really get close to them and you get to spend a full hour with them if you decide to do that. Okay, so to share some logistics and the nuts and bolts of participation costs.
So the participation contribution is $4,600 per advisor, and that includes all the preparation that you need to, we'll do multiple webinars and share lots of information with you to prepare. That includes the cost of any site visits like museums or cultural events that we do as a group, any sightseeing that we organize, all local transportation, the hotel, your stay at the hotel, and then group meals. Most of the group meals are included. There's usually a couple of nights where people just maybe want downtime or to go off in small groups, but mostly the meals are covered. And we also provide travel insurance if you need that. What is not included, your international flights, airport transfers from your home to the airport. We do include the airport transfer from once you land in Kigali to get to the hotel. Also, you would be responsible for any visa costs and then personal and incidentals during the trip and alcohol. So for company matching programs, many people do access matching programs, although some people just self-fund. But it's $3,200 is the amount that would be eligible if your company matches. And the way we arrive at that figure is that you contribute $1,400 for your hotel, which we arrange, but that is the amount that's considered market value. And so that part's not eligible for matching. Then you contribute $1,600 for the rest of it, and your company can match that. So I know that's complicated, and we're happy to take questions or follow up individually as needed. But the total cost, basically in summary, the total cost to you, if you have a matching program, is $3,000 plus your flight and incidentals. Most of our advisors do some kind of fundraising. We have lots of resources to share on that and tips. But you can do, your own fundraising campaign, asking friends and family for support, or you can contribute directly that way. So we'll be glad to share more information or take questions on that. And let's see. Yeah, so before we open up the question and answers, we just wanted to share, as we mentioned earlier, we hear really positive feedback from our advisors. We've had multiple advisors go on several trips. And so we also really are growing the advisor community. So if anyone wants to talk to past advisors, I'm sure we could arrange that. But this is a quote from Miriam, who is at Google, and she came with us to Cambodia and just has stayed very involved with us. She just was working with us on Tech2Empower USA, which was earlier this month, and she actually recently joined our board. And so there's a quote you can read for yourself about her experience.
Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And remember that our deadline to apply is March 27th. And then it'll be a really quick turnaround. So we want to go ahead. We'll schedule some interviews, and then we will be notifying applicants whether they are being invited to attend. Usually we receive more applications than we can accept, sometimes many more. But we will be conducting interviews, and then we'll be letting people know on April 3rd whether or not we're able to invite them on the trip. And then there'll just be a week to confirm and provide the deposit of $750 to hold your spot before the rest of the participation contribution is due. And so now just we're happy to take questions. You can unmute your mic if you want to talk verbally, or you can put it into the chat. And we're happy to take any questions whatsoever. And if there are no questions, that's fine as well. That makes us feel like we've done a decent job of explaining, but if there are anything specific, let us know.
Also, we are doing another webinar on Monday, the 25th. So if you have friends or colleagues you think might be interested and couldn't join today, please share this with them. And we'll also we'll share the deck and the recording from today, and then the registration link if anyone wants to join another info session on Monday.
Yes, we will. We can share this deck. So we have recorded this. So actually, I'm going to turn off the recording in a second. But we have recorded this, and we will be sharing the deck. So we will send it out to this group. We'll also be posting it online on our webpage, a link. And yeah, anything else? No. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be an amazing trip, and we hope you will consider applying. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.